This thing that he's doing where he's pretending that he's a woman is very smart.
It really don't make a difference if you say he or she to me.
Some psychopath can just pretend that they're a woman and knock women over on the court.
I gotta take this out.
Norman's a fucking woman, dude. I bet.
Oh,
It's a giant dude. A giant dude who's just dominating these chicks. So the more controversy there is, the more people do come to see them. The crazy thing about the WNBA, imagine if the NBA had the same sexual dynamic. Imagine if the most of the team was a bunch of gay dudes.
Joe Rogan did not ease into this debate. He charged straight through the front door, and within hours, his comments had dragged the WNBA back into one of the most explosive arguments in modern sports. But this story is bigger than one viral podcast clip. It involves Brittney Griner, a resurfaced interview, Sophie Cunningham's public stance, and a league already struggling to keep basketball from being swallowed by a political firestorm. Now fans are asking a question that WNBA may not want to answer. Did Sophie Cunningham warn everyone exactly where this debate was heading? Because once Rogan's comments began circulating, old footage returned, reaction channels piled in, and separate arguments were suddenly fused into one massive controversy. Some viewers called it a long overdue conversation about competitive fairness. Others accused commentators of using women's sports to target individual athletes and spread unsupported rumors. And that distinction matters. This video is not here to declare internet speculation as fact. It is here to show you what was actually said, why the clips exploded, and how the WNBA found itself trapped between two audiences demanding completely different things. Stay with us, because the final clip changes the entire framing of this story.
Can't define what a woman is, then you're an idiot. And this is nonsense. And that's what your ideology is. Your ideology is so stupid, you can't define the difference between a male and a female. And so you've decided that people identifying with something means it's a real thing, and you have to say it because everybody else says it, and they scare you, and they'll cancel you and go after you. So everyone's agreed to nonsense. So this is where we painted ourselves into this dumb.
Rogan's argument focused on eligibility rules in women's competition. His position was blunt. Identity and athletic classification are not necessarily the same question, and sports organizations must be able to draw a clear competitive boundary. That message connected instantly with viewers who believe governing bodies have avoided the issue. Rogan has discussed
corporate media's initial aggressive attempt to promote political narratives has utterly backfired, sparking a fierce public debate that extends from major podcast studios to mainstream news programs.
Brittney Griner now adding her voice to the debate over transgender athletes. She's a WNBA star, slamming the push to ban biological men from competing against biological women.
So when someone like Brittney Griner says, actually, I'm going to fight for men to play in women's sports, it's just another blow against lots of young female athletes.
But they've painted themselves in a corner, because if they don't let the guy in, it looks bad.
Right.
But if they do, he's going to dunk.
Well, the thing is, can you define what a woman is? And until you can't, if you can't define what a woman is, then you're an idiot. And this is nonsense.
In a heated episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, host Joe Rogan attacked the sports establishment, saying that these organizations have put themselves in a ridiculous situation where they are unable to even describe what a woman is. Rogan presented the stark, brutal truths.
The footage being replayed across social media came from Griner publicly supporting transgender athletes' ability to participate. She described the issue as a priority and said everyone deserves the right to play. Supporters viewed that as a defense of inclusion. Critics heard something completely different: an elite women's athlete supporting rules they believe could weaken the competitive protections created for female sports. That disagreement would have been controversial on its own, but online commentators quickly mixed Griner's policy position with personal claims about her identity, claims that were repeated loudly despite not being established by reliable evidence. That leap is important to recognize. Criticizing an athlete's public position is fair commentary. Presenting a rumor about that athlete as proven fact is not the same thing. And yet, once those two arguments were merged, the story became almost impossible for the league to control.
Things that Joe Rogan, a prominent podcaster, one of the things that made him wake up to this issue is that he's an MMA fighter.
Correct.
And when Joe Rogan saw biological males who are transitioning to female beating the hell out of biological females in the ring, he started to think,
what are we doing?
What are we doing here? Like, why are we cheering this on?
If you say anything like, look, trans women aren't women. There are men who identify as women, which is fine, but there's a biological distinction that protects women in sports, and that's chromosomes. We know XX chromosome, you're a woman, XY, you're a dude. Do it that way. Call yourself whatever the fuck you want. But if you want to play in the WNBA, you have to have X.
Listen carefully to what Griner actually said. She expressed support for transgender athletes. She did not announce a new WNBA rule, speak on behalf of every player, or settle how eligibility should work at each competitive level. Nevertheless, critics argued that everyone deserves the right to play avoids the hardest part of the debate. Where? Under what eligibility standard? And how should leagues balance inclusion with the reason female sporting categories exist in the first place? Those questions cannot be answered with a slogan. They require specific policies, medical standards, legal review, and sport-by-sport analysis. But nuance rarely survives a viral cycle. The clip was shortened, the language became more aggressive, and Griner was soon positioned as the face of everything critics believed was wrong with the league. Then Sophie Cunningham entered the conversation.
WNBA have an onus of responsibility to be able to ensure that it's fair playership, though? I don't know if playership's a word.
For college sports and for the WNBA, too, 100%. I mean, I don't think it's ever okay for guys to be playing girl sports, but if this is true, then she was like the origin of this epidemic.
Mostly big black gay ladies and a few scared-looking Sophie Cunninghams that have to point fingers at people. You're surrounded by people who think you're perhaps sexually attractive.
They've made it into a reality show. It's become like Real Housewives. They're all just fight now.
Right.
That's the only reason you watch.
But it is an interesting sexual dynamic.
Rogan brought attention to the contentious political climate within the WNBA during the conversation, highlighting how vocal common sense stars like Sophie Cunningham are compelled to defend biological reality in the face of league narratives that disregard fundamental science.
You're going to have a tremendous platform, but where is that going to be on your radar in terms of advocating for athletes, all athletes, transgender athletes to be able to play?
Oh, I mean, that ranks high on the list of things that I'll be fighting for and speaking up against. Everyone deserves the right to play.
The WNBA's Brittney Griner is a man.
That's not a woman. That's not a female. That's not even a trans person. That is a man.
Brittney Griner is, in fact,
Cunningham's stance resonated because it was framed around protection rather than provocation. Her supporters said she was expressing what many athletes privately believe but are reluctant to say publicly. Women's sports need clear boundaries, and raising that concern should not automatically make someone hateful. Her critics saw the message differently. They argued that language about protecting women can be used to exclude a small and vulnerable group, especially when the conversation targets individuals rather than carefully written rules. But Cunningham did not retreat, and that refusal turned her into a symbol. To one side, she became the player willing to say the obvious, while league officials hid behind corporate language. To the other, she became another public figure amplifying a culture-war narrative around a complicated issue.
What happens when a basketball legend's name suddenly gets pulled into the biggest Caitlin Clark controversy of the season? The internet reacts, the WNBA reacts, and within hours, every fan is asking the same question.
Or she, to me, like when I'm out in public, like my teammates sometimes will get mad if somebody call me a he, but I'm just like, I don't care. Like, we go sit down and get some food and they're like, sir, what do you want? I'm like, yeah, let me get the steak, medium well. Thank you. I'm in TSA and I'm going through TSA and, the guy pats me down so I could go through. I'm cool. I didn't have people come running like, no, it's a girl. I'm like, hey, you're making it awkward. Yeah. Like, I'm just trying to get through. Whoever could pat me down the fastest, I don't care.
Yeah.
I've had the opposite where someone was like, hey, it's just against the rules. Like, he can't pat you down. Like, she has to pat you down. And then she walks up and she's looking at me. She goes looking at my chest, looking me up and down, looking at my chest, trying to look at the ID, making it awkward. Or they'll ask me, you really a girl?
This was the pressure point Rogan kept returning to. He argued that institutions had created a public relations trap. Any restriction could be condemned as exclusion, while unrestricted participation could produce competitive consequences that those same institutions would struggle to defend. Whether viewers agreed with his language or not, the clip was designed for maximum impact. Short sentences, a simple contrast, a question that forces the audience to choose a side. And the WNBA was especially vulnerable to that framing. The league is enjoying unprecedented attention, but attention is not the same as stability. New viewers have arrived for elite basketball, star rivalries, and personalities such as Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham. Many of them have little patience for messaging they believe distracts from the game. At the same time, the WNBA has a long history of players speaking on social issues. Asking the league to remove politics entirely would mean asking it to abandon part of the identity its athletes helped build. That creates the real crossroads. How does the WNBA welcome a rapidly expanding mainstream audience without treating its existing players and values like a problem that needs to be hidden?
Everyone deserves the right to play, so she's now weighed in on this. She's got a big voice.
I suppose it's sort of lucky that Brittney Griner's not just starting off, because if these are the rules when she was starting off, then the whole thing might be different. The problem we have in America on this is that there's a very distinct lack, actually, of women defending women in the public square on issues like this. And that isn't the case in every other country. And for instance, in my own country of origin, Britain, there have been very, very prominent women, not just in sports, but across the political and social platforms who have objected to precisely.
That reaction identifies something deeper than one eligibility debate. Cultural power inside the league is shifting. For years, WNBA narratives were largely controlled by longtime players, traditional media partners, and a relatively concentrated fan base. The arrival of a massive new audience changed the balance. Millions of viewers began following individual stars, dissecting league decisions, and challenging the way established outlets framed controversial stories. Caitlin Clark became the clearest symbol of that shift. Her reach brought new ticket buyers, larger television audiences, and fans who had never previously followed women's basketball. Sophie Cunningham's visibility also surged as she became closely associated with the Fever's new era and developed a reputation for refusing to soften her opinions. That does not mean every new fan shares the same politics. It does mean league executives can no longer assume that one approved message will satisfy everyone watching. The audience is larger, louder, and much harder to manage.
A woman decided to stand up for women and female spaces. And that woman is now getting lambasted by other women because she doesn't support transgender people in female spaces. Sophie Cunningham, who many of you will probably know from this video, recently got herself in hot water because she had the audacity to say that women and girls should be protected.
WNBA star Sophie Cunningham, who plays guard for the Indiana Fever, when an ESPN feature quoted her opposition towards biological men competing in women's sports. She said she wanted to protect young girls both on court as well as in the locker room, calling her position kind of common sense. It has everything to do with reality.
This resurfaced interview drove the controversy into even more personal territory. Griner explained that strangers have sometimes mistaken her for a man and that she generally chooses not to turn those encounters into confrontations. Online accounts seized on those comments as if they were a confession. They were not. Griner was describing being misgendered in public and her personal reaction to it. Still, the clip was irresistible to channels already promoting a more sensational theory. It contained the exact ingredients that make a story spread: a famous athlete, an awkward public experience, provocative language, and enough missing context for viewers to project their own conclusion onto it. This is where the WNBA's silence became part of the story. If officials responded, they risked giving fringe allegations greater reach. If they ignored the controversy, critics could claim the league was hiding something. It was another no-win situation, and every hour of silence created room for a more dramatic narrator to fill the gap.
This jersey used to represent someone I respected as an athlete. Today it represents something I can't support anymore. Sports have the power to bring people together, but when someone uses their platform to demonize or marginalize an already vulnerable community, I have to decide where I stand. I'm burning my support. As a trans woman, I've spent years fighting just to exist authentically.
I will never understand how these people think this is some sort of a win for their side. Like, I am begging you people to be normal.
Despite the monumental freakout, Cunningham didn't back down, which we love to see.
Cunningham's refusal to apologize became a second viral engine. Her supporters did not merely agree with her, they celebrated her as proof that athletes could resist public pressure and survive. That framing transformed a policy disagreement into a story about courage versus control. On one side was the athlete supposedly risking her reputation to protect women's competition. On the other was the league, portrayed as being too frightened of backlash to confront an uncomfortable issue. It is an emotionally powerful narrative, but it also simplifies reality. The WNBA is not one person with one opinion. Its players, coaches, executives, sponsors, and fans do not speak with a single voice. Griner's position is not automatically the league's position, just as Cunningham's view does not represent every woman in professional basketball. The conflict feels bigger because social media rewards the most absolute version of each side.
Brittney Griner, the WNBA's Brittney Griner, is in fact a man.
Value, Brittney. Let me see something real quick. Brick, thank you.
Damn. Look at the chest.
Jab stepping, just a brick. Swing and a miss.
It's very clearly Brittney.
I ain't gonna fake it right now.
They called him/her by their name. And as you can clearly see here, his bare chest is complete.
And there is the central question, stripped of the personal attacks. What responsibility does a women's league have to define fair eligibility? Fans deserve a serious answer. So do current athletes. So do transgender athletes, who need to know what rules apply before they dedicate years of their lives to a sport. Clear standards protect everyone from a system in which decisions are made only after a controversy erupts. They also allow the debate to focus on policy instead of inviting internet detectives to target the appearance, voice, or private life of an individual player. That is the line this conversation repeatedly crossed. Instead of debating regulations, some commentators began examining Griner's body. Instead of evaluating her public argument, they circulated cropped footage and claimed it proved something it did not prove. And instead of asking the WNBA for transparent standards, they turned one athlete into a conspiracy. That may generate clicks, but it weakens the legitimate fairness argument by attaching it to claims that cannot be responsibly verified.
Again, cultural power. This is why the WNBA this is not going to go away. This issue is not going to go away. They're in such a bad position here. Caitlin Clark, they have cultural power. People love them. People are buying tickets that would never care about the WNBA. There's a reason why people call Sophie Cunningham MAGA Barbie, and people are starting to fill the arenas to watch her and Caitlin Clark. She's not apologizing for saying that there should be no men in this woman's sport. It's caused an absolute crisis, and people are losing their mind.
Caitlin Clark is an absolute all-star. She is the Michael Jordan of this. This is the girl that girls have been waiting for forever.
Caitlin Clark is a rising star in women's basketball. She's pulling in crazy viewership numbers.
These women spent $1,000 on tickets to attend the Indiana Fever versus Atlanta Dream game, specifically to see.
Rogan offered a clear rule in a single sentence. Real sports policies, however, are rarely that simple. Biology includes more variables than one podcast soundbite can cover, while different sports organizations use different eligibility frameworks. But the popularity of his statement tells league officials something they should not ignore. Audiences want rules they can understand. If a policy requires endless corporate explanations yet still leaves athletes and fans uncertain, trust collapses. And once trust collapses, every controversial clip looks like evidence of a cover-up, even when it is not. That is why Sophie Cunningham's message landed so effectively. Whether people agreed with her completely or not, they understood what she was trying to say. Protect the category. Protect fairness. Do not punish women for raising questions about women's competition.
Griner's message, "Everyone deserves the right to play," was equally direct, but it left the competitive details unanswered. In a debate defined by those details, that opening allowed critics to define her position for her.
Thing that he's doing where he's pretending that he's a woman is very smart.
It really don't make a difference if you say he or she to me.
Some psychopath can just pretend that they're a woman and knock women over on the court.
I gotta take this out. Norman's a fucking woman, dude.
I bet.
It's a giant dude. A giant dude who's just dominating these chicks. So the more controversy there is, the more people do come to see them. The crazy thing about the WNBA, imagine if the NBA had the same sexual dynamic. Imagine if most of the team was a bunch of gay dudes who were like very...
This is why the controversy matters to the league far beyond Griner, Cunningham, or Rogan. The WNBA has a historic opportunity. New stars have introduced the product to viewers who once ignored it. Arenas feel different. Television coverage feels bigger. Every hard foul, press conference, and rivalry can dominate the sports conversation for days. But growth also magnifies every weakness. An unclear policy becomes a national argument. A careless statement becomes a headline. A league response that once passed unnoticed is now analyzed frame by millions of people. The WNBA can treat that scrutiny as hostility, or it can recognize it as the unavoidable cost of becoming culturally important. Fans are no longer asking the league simply to survive. They are asking it to lead. Rogan's harshest conclusion was that controversy itself has become part of the WNBA's product. That claim will frustrate genuine basketball fans, but it is difficult to deny that outrage regularly receives more attention than the games. A spectacular performance may trend for one night. A culture war clip can dominate an entire week. The danger is obvious. If the league allows every disagreement to become a personal war, new viewers may arrive for the drama but never develop loyalty to the basketball. Players become political symbols, rivalries become ideological battles, and the sport's growth becomes dependent on anger that can turn against it at any moment. That is not a stable foundation. The stronger path is transparency. Publish clear eligibility rules, explain how they were developed, apply them consistently, protect athletes from targeted misinformation while allowing honest disagreement about policy, and stop pretending silence will make a viral controversy disappear. Because it will not disappear. Rogan's audience is too large, Cunningham's supporters are too energized, Griner's comments are already permanently embedded in the debate, and every new WNBA controversy will pull these same clips back into circulation.
So, was Sophie Cunningham right? She was right that concerns about competitive fairness cannot simply be dismissed. Women's leagues need comprehensible boundaries, and female athletes should be able to discuss those boundaries without being treated as enemies. But that does not make every rumor circulated about Brittney Griner true. It is possible to challenge her public position without inventing a personal expose. In fact, separating those two things makes the fairness argument stronger, not weaker. Joe Rogan succeeded because he delivered a complicated controversy in language millions of people immediately understood. Now the pressure is on the WNBA to answer with something more substantial than silence, slogans, or damage control. Should women's leagues adopt one firm biological eligibility standard? Do you think Sophie Cunningham was unfairly attacked for stating her position? And did the online reaction cross the line when it turned a policy debate into unsupported claims about Brittney Griner? Tell us exactly where you stand in the comments. If you want more WNBA stories broken down without leaving out the context that changes the headline, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. We'll see you in the next one.